All right. Hey, everybody. I am back. Yesterday, I was doing the video with the Michael Sweet interview and spent most of the day either doing that or editing that. I did it for two different versions, one for the magazine, one for my channel, slightly different, showing the album. But so I wasn't kind of really watching. I knew that the Striper album was coming in, but I had kind of lost track of another package that was sent earlier in the week that I had totally didn't register when it was going to get here. And then yesterday evening, as I'm editing, packages came. They didn't come with the regular mail, they came separately, so it kind of caught me off guard. And it was late in the evening, even the mail came late. And then I realized, oh wow, this is that package of records that I had, new records. So I spent the rest of last evening and most of this morning spinning these records, because these are all bands that are pretty much brand new to me. And so here's how it came to happen. So earlier in the week, somewhere after Record Store Day, I was on YouTube watching those fine folks in the hills of Tennessee over at B-Sides, and they were showing what they had not got. Well, they were showing some Record Store Day stuff, but not really. It was stuff they had received in the mail, and not Record Store Day, but it was related. And they mentioned in the video about ordering stuff from a place called Deep Discount, which I had honestly never heard of before. So I immediately popped on there, and they talked about getting stuff for sale, some metal packages that were combos. Now I went on there briefly and was trying to find these combo packages that they had spoke of getting, and like 3 albums for $30, things like that. And I didn't really see those, but so I didn't look that long, honestly. But then I went over and I clicked vinyl, and then I clicked heavy metal, and they had, like 1,000 releases or whatever. And then I sorted based on price and went down the list from lowest to highest, and honestly didn't recognize a whole lot of bands. But then I thought, for these prices, because most of these prices were that I was looking at, I didn't go much higher, but most of the prices I was looking at were in the under $7 range. And these are all new sealed releases. Most of them new releases, and most of them bands I'd never heard of. So these I saw. Usually I was attracted by the artwork. I'm like, that looks kind of cool. Go to YouTube, find a video for him, I literally would listen to like 60 seconds of it and go, yeah. And I'm putting stuff in my cart. So that's what these ended up being. I ended up with 6 of them. And so let me show you what I got. These to me are all, in most cases, brand new bands that I'm not even familiar with. So let me tell you what I got. And anyway, so one of the ones that caught my eye, and this one really caught my eye because it looked 80s. When you look at some of the 80s artwork, the cheesiness, the oddity, the inexpensive stuff. It came out in 1986. Attila. Look at the artwork. That is, oops, get the glare out of there. That is just, somebody's fun with the little drawing. It screams 80s underground metal. This is the kind of stuff that I'm going to jump on, because I can tell that most likely it's going to be the kind of stuff I like. And then you look at the guys. Come on. These are, that to me screams thrash metal. I'm thinking Exciter. Just all of the different bands backed into trios with all the metal and the spikes. So yeah, this had to go with me. I did go ahead and pull it up, and it didn't take very long to decide that's going right in the basket. It is a combination. There are some like thrash moments. It is kind of thrashy, but not what you would consider flat out thrash metal. It's got, they do a cover of Schools Out on here. It's traditional metal, without the soaring melodic vocals. But honestly, I've spun this whole thing, and I love it. I don't know how I missed that. It's the only release these guys have, at least according to Discogs. This is it. One and done. Now, the second one is a band that I knew, but did not realize they, how bands do. They put out albums in the 80s, they disappear, they come back, and here we go. This is Avenger, The Slaughter Never Stops. Now, I was familiar with Avenger back in the 80s when I was looking in the, buying records in the indie section at the record store. I always ran across that album, Bloodsport, and I thought it was cool. It had the weird guy with the the football looking helmet with all the spikes, and it was red, and you know, the chainsaws. It had a cool look. I never did purchase it, but later in life, you know, maybe 20 years ago or so, ran across digital copies online. I've got it. So these are guys that came out with an 83 EP and then 2 LPs in 84 and 85. Disappeared as far as I know. Well, 2014 they get back together and they release this. 2018 this comes out on vinyl. So it's a 2018 vinyl reissue of a 2014 new release from a band that hasn't done anything since 85. And I'll tell you, this was one of the first ones. This one actually was not in the under 7 bin. This is the one I paid the most for. I want to say it was like $12. But again, it was the only band that I recognized and wanted to check out. And it is an amazing. I love it. These guys, and I'll sound. This was like the No Album band from back in the day. So they're overseas. This album sounds to me a lot like Raven, the vocalist and everything. The vocalist sounds like Raven. So this one, I was like, wow, this was great. Check it out if you haven't. Very Raven-esque. If you like Raven, check this out. 2014 release. Don't know why they haven't done anything else, but the 2018 reissue of a 2014 release. Skeletor. Now, turns out this band's been around since 2006. This is their 2019 release. Cyber metal. The artwork looked really cool, cartoon, comic bookish, and it looked like something out of an issue of Heavy Metal magazine. It's just got that kind of artwork from those days, and so I pulled it up a little bit. And the power metal band, all the way, great stuff. These guys are a U.S. band. Like I said, they've been around since 2006. This just happens to be like their latest album, and this one ranked up there high. When I put this on, it was just great stuff. And so this one was an exciting buy. Now this next one is Majesty, again 2019 release. This is a German band. They've been around since 2000, so they've got a handful of releases. This is their 2019. I pulled up, they have a video for one of their tracks. It was We Are Legends. Very, it's hard rock, metal. The artwork caught my eye. I just thought it was kind of a cool cover. Remind me of I Am Legend, and of course the album is called Legends. I Am Legend with the guy, living in this. It just looks like a scene right off the cover of the I Am Legend, except for this guy's got a guitar and he's standing on top of a car. And very anthem-y type songs. Good stuff. Conquest. The World Has Gone to Hell. Again, artwork kind of caught my eye. Flames and Statue of Liberty. So I looked them up. They are a U.S. band. These guys have been around since 1988. They have cassettes out and stuff from the 80s, like all the bands did. Then they got signed. They put out a bunch of albums. This is their 2019 release, and it is hot. I love discovering new bands like this that are not, doing these kind of semi-blind buys breaks me out of my comfort zone. Rather than going out and just collecting the same stuff that I usually would, it gives me the ability to spend some time, at a cheaper price. It's nice to buy them cheaper price, to spend some time learning new bands. And this band, this is just a great album. They're traditional metal. The vocalist is not, has got kind of a rougher vocal style. So, think Judas Priesty, kind of very small times, maybe Dio-esque, just kind of a little bit more of a powerhouse vocalist. A little gruffer, great metal. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Just check them out online. They have a video. They have some videos too. Like I said, they've been around for a while. This was a great purchase. Now, this next one is the only band that is actually a new band. This is their second album. The artwork caught my eye. It was described as doom metal, the Ossuary. And so I checked them out online, and I said, okay, that's cool. Yeah, I want to check that out. It says on the sticker here that it is for fans of Black Sabbath, Saint Vitus, Pentagram, Candlemass, and even Iron Maiden. Now, I'm not sure where the Iron Maiden reference comes from. Limited to 200, which, I always want to jump on the limited stuff just because it's like, hey, it only released on 200. And can you tell me what number you think this is? Can you see that? What number is that? It's hard to tell. I have to assume it's a 77, but who draws sevens like that? It's like, what are those? A's? Really? Seriously? Is that number AA? Is that what I got? Number AA? Anyway, so I threw this one on, and it definitely is what it's described as. It's definitely that kind of a doomy, not real doomy, but it's definitely that. It does remind me of kind of a Saint Vitus, kind of a not so much Black Sabbath, but maybe some of the doomier sides of Black Sabbath. A little like maybe like Place of Skulls, which would of course be Pentagram because you still got Victor Griffin and stuff. It's a gatefold. Most of it's odd. Most of these are gatefolds, but they're single albums, and you got this inside. So, all right, what are you gonna expect from doom metal but the deep, dark skulls and flames and all of that? So you've got that imagery here, and you got the little crosses of everything that you would think that goes with this type of music. And this is the 2019 release. It's their second album. I think their first was in 2017. So it is a new band. They're from Italy. And of course, you got the songs on here that talk about things like, Lucifer and stuff. So they got that. It's not overly, satanic, but they cross into that. It's like, how do you as a believer, as a Christian, deal with bands like this where they sing stuff about or kind of to like a Lucifer character? And to me it's kind of humorous because it shows how tradition that's not biblical has carried over and bands tap into it. It shows how little bands know about the Bible. And so in this case, they have a couple things that references to Lucifer. Lucifer is not even in the Bible. It's a word that's been translated from Latin. It's went from Greek to Latin to English to become Lucifer, and it's not even a legitimate. It's not even not only is it not really a legitimate word, it's not a name. It's not a proper name. There is no character in the Bible named Lucifer, and yet everybody uses this Lucifer thing as if he's Satan. Even Satan is not a literal noun name. I won't even get into that. It kind of was used that way a little in the New Testament, but in Hebrew thought, even that is a group. It's a job title for the most part. And so you've got Lucifer, people using it as if this is some devil figure, and it's really not. So it's just kind of funny. They know not what they speak of. So it's kind of humorous. I don't let it get to me too much. There's a lot of stuff like that. Same thing with the whole imagery of the 666. In heavy metal, 666 is the number of the beast, as Iron Maiden would say. But Iron Maiden also lets you know clearly, it's right there, it's the number of a man. It's not some devil. It's not some antichrist, which never appears in connection with the beast. It's a man. It was a man. Anyway, it's funny how these things have become in tradition over the years, and a lot of it transfers over from like medieval thought, and I've got books on how it went from there, but how it transferred from original Hebrew thought into what it is today. And it's kind of funny, but people who are into this stuff don't know that. They just pick up, oh, that's a good name, so let's be dark and sing about that. So anyway, whatever, I'm not going to get on that whole pedestal there. All I can say is that I was excited. I've listened to every one of these, and all of them are great in their own fashion. They are all new bands that sound great, and I really, check out deepdiscount.com if you want to pick up some of the stuff. They got some decent deep discounts. They probably have a lot more undiscovered gems like this. Just bands that are new releases that I've never heard of. And so I was excited. I wanted to share that. Great stuff, just new metal to me, and it's just great to have some new blood in the system here where I can listen to it. Anyway, thanks a lot. Just wanted to share that. I will talk to you later. Rock on.